Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we are finally doing a Venom review, aka Anti-Venom, for all of you guys asking for it. Not technically a character, just a uniform, but it is a really special uniform because it does transform the character wholly. So I will be referring to the character throughout this review as Venom, but I will be doing the review looking at the character with his uniform for Anti-Venom on. So again, just like the Spider-Man Homecoming review, I am assuming that you have the uniform in question. Otherwise, the skill rotation, the Uru, even the value of the character is greatly diminished and altered in this case for this character. So looking at the pros and the cons of Venom, we can see that especially with this uniform, he's got massive healing, which is the #1 thing about this uniform. He also has some changes to his skills, and he deals great damage with or without the uniform. That's always been a pretty good pro of the character. Very high native physical attack. The two cons for the character, of course, the first one being that without this uniform, he's basically a 0. With this uniform, the only big con I have against this character is that he only has one iframe. So it's going to be difficult for you to do skill canceling, and you're going to have to learn to kite and dodge very effectively if you want to keep him alive against very big hits, one-shots in fact, because even if you can heal up your whole health bar, it will not save you, especially in things like Timeline or Conquest, from getting killed in one hit. But looking at the skills now, we can definitely see why he's so incredible. He's got a heal on his second skill, which goes up to 8% of the damage dealt. He's got a heal on his fourth skill. It's not an active heal, it's a passive heal that will pop up little blobs that you have to collect, like Carnage's third skill. So it's a kind of indirect healing. And then on his fifth skill, he has a massive heal for 10% of his max HP. That usually bumps him way up to full health, tops him off whenever you cast this skill. He doesn't have a lot of skill changes, but I've already discussed them in the character rebalancing for Venom. But he does have a lot going for him. The rotation that you want to use for Venom with this uniform on is actually not set in stone for any one particular game mode. One rotation that you can try that I've used kind of sparingly is opening with the fourth skill because it has an iframe, then going into the fifth skill because those are his two most damaging attacks, so 4 and then 5, and then finishing with 3 and then 2. You can cancel the third shortly after it begins because the hits will add on residually, and then finish with that second skill because it has the heal. The first skill is okay, but it doesn't really bring a lot of damage or a lot of healing, so you can skip it. Now, I can't really give you guys a very clear or concise or even sure bet about Alliance Battle Extreme because to date we only have one piece of evidence proclaiming his usefulness in Combat Superhero Day, and to be honest, I was not able to get my Venom, or Anti-Venom in this case, geared up properly for that day, nor will I be doing so. But just in case you are curious about that, I have left a link in the description to the Reddit post about it. I give the credit where credit's due to Dave XT, I believe it is. Kudos to this guy. His skill rotation for Anti-Venom appears to be 3, 4, 5. So the third skill is used, and then the fourth skill is used, and then the fifth skill is used. The fifth skill especially is used when the damage proc from the Obelisk triggers, because the fifth skill appears to do the most amount of burst damage, which is where you want your Obelisk to proc on when you are trying to get a high score in Extreme Alliance Battle. However, I did hesitate to add this part to the video because I don't want to give a misleading or a false impression of Anti-Venom. I cannot say with any certainty that he is great for Extreme Alliance Battle. Having only one piece of evidence is not enough to, call in anyone's name or endorse any one character. Having said that, with one piece of evidence, I leave it up to you guys to make your decision on whether you think you should invest in him for Extreme Alliance Battle or not, because I will not be making that decision for anybody else. As far as his gears go, he's got physical attack and attack speed, crit damage and ignore defense, which is nice. He's got crit rate and skill cooldown, which is also quite nice. And then he's got physical defense and dodge. So he's only missing native HP as a stat on the orange gears. Of course, after you set everything else up, you want to roll that fourth gear with what you need. Just keep in mind that he doesn't need attack speed, especially if you're going to tier 2 him, so that's never going to be a factor for him anywhere on his kit. Not on his gear, not on his Uru, not on his ISO 8 set. Speaking of Uru, I think the optimal set is definitely going to include 2 physical attack Urus for the first 4 slots. You already have those taken up. Then if you want to go offensive for Extreme Alliance Battle, you can go with crit rate or crit damage. If you want to go defensive, go with HP, which I plan to do. And then the 5th one can be whatever you need. Some ignore defense, some skill cooldown, because he has it as a secondary stat on his skills or on his gear, but not as a primary one, so you may be missing some off the top if you're trying to max out those stats. Now, as far as the Obelisks go, it's a little bit different. Of course, for defensive purposes, you want an Obelisk with invincibility. That would be for PvP. I think an Obelisk with something like max HP and invincibility, like this one right here with lightning resist, is very, very good. Of course, the lightning resist is not necessary. You could get something cheeky like web immunity to make him a perfect counter to Spider-Man and some of the other spiders, but that is up to you. You could go with something like all defense or recovery rate. If you wanted to go with something for Extreme Alliance Battle, of course you would need snare immunity for Hero Combat Day. Then you would need a damage proc, and then finally, ideally, you would get crit rate or crit damage, but that would be like a god obelisk that not many people can roll. As far as the ISO 8 set goes, I think there are really only 2 choices for Anti-Venom, which is Venom with the uniform on. If you want to go offensive, if you want to go Extreme Alliance Battle or just big damage, has to be Overdrive. Hawk's Eye is not good enough, and Power of Angry Hulk gives him attack speed, which at tier 2 he absolutely does not need. He's way overcapped for attack speed, so it's basically a useless stat line. So the only offensive set would be Overdrive. I think the only good defensive set, because his defensive properties aren't very good enough to justify binary power, I would go with something like Drastic Density to give him that bump to attack while also giving him some defensive properties if you want to go defensive or PvP oriented for the ISO 8 set. Finally, you can farm Anti-Venom, who is actually still Venom, guys, with 2 missions in the story mode for a total of 20 bios per day, which is not bad, and it's what I've been using to farm up his uniform in order to enhance it up to hopefully one day Mythic. Now I want you guys to check out a clip of a tier 1 Anti-Venom testing out his punishment, how much damage he can take and how much he can heal back against Thanos. Invincibility, maybe? Trying not to get grabbed by that. I was curious to see if he can get one-shotted by any of Thanos' moves, so I wasn't trying to dodge anything. You were at half health? No, I didn't cancel the 5th skill. He got interrupted. I'm setting off your Alexa. I kind of want one of those, dude. I don't need it at all. Like, I can barely justify the reason for why I would get it. But it just looks so cool. This is the most annoying part of the fight. Yeah, immune to guard break would really help him out. So he doesn't get interrupted during that 5th skill. Because you gain back a lot of HP from that 5th skill. And sometimes you need that HP. So what was it? 5, 3, 2. I just like 1. 5, 3, 2, 4. Do I have max skill cooldown? Doesn't seem like I do. I'll just save the 4 for the oh wow. Oh wow, yeah, you can definitely die. Wow. Wow. What happened? Wait, what? Oh, we're gonna die again here, boys. Okay. Or not. That's good. You just spent resources flexing on Agent Venom? Nah. What about all the people who maxed out, what's his name? Yeah, what's his name? Oh, that was nice. Iron Fist. I'm not gonna let that happen again. Nope. I think he does the lasers here, no? Yep. Ooh, that's 5,000. It's quite a lot. Nope. Damage is a bit low, but I've got no leadership. Ow. Not very nice, bro. Ow. Oh. Wow. Yikes. Takes a while, but the healing is insane. He basically, it's hard to die. So that is my review on Venom and Anti-Venom, the uniform. Let me know what you guys think of this. Let me know what you think of the character rework. Personally, I do really like it, but I also think that the base kit should have been tweaked a little bit, because for anyone who doesn't have or doesn't want this uniform, they're kind of left with nothing. But my opinion is only part of the story. Let me know what you guys think. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.